All right, we are ready for the BLS Q&A. I'm Eddie Trunk hosting, and I literally just minutes ago wrapped up doing an interview with Zach from my radio show, which was live down in the Smokehouse. And now we're going to bring the guys out here for you to ask them some questions. And by the way, on my radio show, if you're on the ship, you can't hear it, you can listen on the app when you get back. We had some great guests. Steve Harris was on, Zach, Lita, it's been great. Night Ranger. But anyway, this is your chance to ask the band some questions, and we've got Rob. Where is Rob? He's going to be out there, and there's Rob, right there. He's going to be out there with a roaming microphone. We do have to end at 6:15 because there is a band getting ready to come on. I think Tora, I think, is coming out. So let's get the guys out here and get started. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Black Label Society to the atrium stage. I believe they are making their way. Slowly but surely, they are making their way. I think, there it goes, there we go. I just said, Zach's going to be sick of me. He's had to see me like 3 times already on this cruise, so I understand. I hope they're paying you extra to have to spend this much time with me today, Zach. Yeah! How's everybody doing? Everybody having a good time or what? All right, we got Dario down there on the end. Say hello to Dario. And Jeff over there. Say hi to Jeff. And JD, who, man, goes, you're sitting this close to Zach, you take enough shit, man. You got to be in the firing range.
Perfect.
Anyway, who wants to go? Because we have limited time, so let's get right into it. Like I said, I just interviewed these guys minutes ago, so I want you guys to ask the questions. So go ahead, Rob. Let's get started.
I'm just curious. Where did you guys meet? How did you guys end up getting together?
Well, I mean, actually, I've known the Goose before I started playing with Oz. So me and JD, was it before you even went to Berkeley?
No, I was going to school.
But me and JD met then, and then so we always laugh whenever we're playing, to the cruise, when we did Royal Albert Hall, or whenever we played, as a landmark venue. I always refer to it at my mom and dad's house, 3 Princeton Drive in Jackson, New Jersey. So me and JD jamming, because of his love for Jaco Pastorius and my love for Al Di Meola. So we did a tape that JD brought to Berkeley with him. It was us jamming. I would play rhythm guitar, JD would solo, JD would play rhythm, then I'd solo, just Al Di Meola licks and everything like that. So, but I always say, from the 3 Princeton Drive sessions to the Royal Albert Hall, so. But that's when me and JD met, and then we met Jeff. It really gets to a point where it's all down to, it's friends that that are like, oh man, I hook up with my buddy Anthony, or my buddy Tommy is great on the drums or whatever. So it was actually Blasco brought Jeff in, with us. And then, because Jeff was playing with In This Moment when I was playing with Oz, when we were doing Ozzy stuff, and Black Label, and that's when we met Jeff. And then Dario, we met through Blasco too. So Dario, so it's great. And here we are. But it's usually, I think if you ask most bands, unless you grew up with guys and you started a band in high school, or like Sabbath or anything like that, it's usually guys or somebody turns you on to somebody, you know what I mean?
Rob, who else we have out there?
But actually, I gotta be honest with you, I met all the guys on Tinder.
Exactly. Right down front.
This is for the band as well. First of all, this album fucking kicks ass.
Thank you very much.
Engines of Demolition, the new BLS album, out now at all your favorite record stores.
So for the Ozzy song on here, was this something that was already going to be on the album, or he passed, or was this an after a passing thing?
No, I wrote the lyrics to the Ozzy song. After we laid Oz to rest, when we flew back to America, I just sat in our library at the house. I already had the music, and I was just like, the music came out really good, but usually it was lyrics or last. So I ended up sitting in our little library at about 1 o'clock in the morning with the headphones on, and I just was looking at a book of Ozzy, and I wrote the lyrics. That was it. So, and there you have it. But, yeah, all right.
Oh, you're just waving to Rob? You didn't want to ask a question?
What else we got?
I'm coming.
Rob's running around. Rob's getting his
Everybody
steps
wants to
in.
get back to the bar.
Is that it? I think that's it.
JD bought the $1,200 package. He's like, I gotta get my money's worth there.
Seriously, gotta use
JD's
it.
like, if I don't walk out of here with
No, I
liver
got questions
damage
about
or
it.
at least a smashed pancreas, I'm gonna be pissed.
That's it.
JD's got to watch the Mets game coming up in a couple of
What's that,
hours.
buddy?
I see you got to watch the Mets game. You got to get back to watch the Mets streaming.
I got a question here, Eddie.
So on the album before this one, there were no harmonic bends. Who told you to stop being Zach? And
What's
I
that,
didn't
man?
like that.
What, the Doom Crew Incorporated record? Wait, what about it?
Well, there wasn't really any zero harmonic bends. You put no squeals on that album at all. I mean, a couple really subtle, but not Zach. Not grinding a bend. And I was just kind of wondering where that came from if someone gave you that advice.
The pitch harmonics and the squeal and everything like that. No, it just, to me, it didn't, if they fit the song or a part that I want to put them in, I just put them in. But to me, I haven't had a need to put them in. That's the reason, probably from Catacombs on.
This was like only one or two.
The purpose was only like 1 or 2 in there. So, yeah, if I feel like putting them in, I put them in. You know, there's still plenty of them live. Stand up in a minute. That's for sure.
Before we go to another audience question, Dario, I want to get you involved there on the end there because, I mean, you're on stage with this guy. And for those that saw this show last night at the pool stage, they do a cool interactive part playing behind their heads and everything. So what is it like for you, and how long did it take before you really, blended with Zach and figured out all these different things you guys wanted to do, trading off on stage, and how you were going to mesh your styles?
I think it was just, I don't know if this is it, yeah, I think it was just natural progression, as far as like recording, matching the vibrato took a little bit, listening, but just jamming back and forth on stage has been a natural progression of us just going back and forth, but yeah.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I got a couple down here.
I know you guys know me. I'm asking about your home state of New Jersey and your favorite burger place. Did you ever take Ozzy to White Castle?
No, actually, I never took Oz to White Castle, but whenever we'd hit New York City, whenever we're there, Oz would always want a dirty water dog. He goes, Zach, let's find the one that has the most cigarette butts in the water. And it's the most filthiest for that New York City flavor. But yeah, that would always be funny, you know what I mean? So yeah, I'd always take Oz for dirty. So whenever I see a hot dog stand in New York City, I just think about Ozzy and us getting kraut, mustard, and a dirty water dog. Always. Totally.
Eddie, you got a question here in front?
You sound a lot like Ozzy. I was wondering if it was true that if you like you stood behind a curtain and saying Ozzy when he couldn't sing it.
No, it's a weird thing. I'm just saying. I mean, we were doing this one thing with William Haynes for Young Guitars, and Williams was asking. He goes, "Well, Zach, you sound a lot like Ozzy. Well, when you're recording the Zach Sabbath things, or when you're doing, certain Black Label songs or whatever." And Oz goes, "Oh, I guess it would be, you know, it would rub off because he's been around me all the time. I go, no, it's because you're the best. And I'm hoping that people, what'll happen is, I go, Oz, there's a lot of thought that goes behind this. What I'm hoping is, they buy the record in hopes that it's the new Ozzy record. And then there's massive sales, and then they're thoroughly disappointed when they get halfway through it. And just like a piece of exercise equipment, nobody wants to return it because it's too much of a pain in the ass. So there's a method to the madness. But no, I mean, it's just a weird thing. I mean, I've always been, whenever we, you know, when we were 15 years old, doing our cover band, I would always be the one singing the Sabbath stuff, you know, and then like if our JD would sing the Doors stuff, because he's got a lower voice. So it's like, if we were in a wedding band, any of our friends that could sing, you know, that could mimic certain bands' voices, we would do it. And then, you know, then that's why I always get stuck doing they come to America today. I do Neil Diamond as well. So, you know, but I enjoy Michael McDonald as well. He's another one of my favorites. But, you know, no, it just happens that, yeah, I mean, and it's funny because, like, pretty much Ozzy and Greg Allman are my favorite singers. So, you know, but yeah, but I mean, the Ozzy thing, it's just, he's one of my favorites for sure. You know, so I can only make sense, right?
We got a question over here, Eddie.
Sure, go ahead.
Hi guys, I just wanted to make a statement first that your music has got me through a lot of personal stuff, most recently cancer, and I just wanted to know which album of yours resonates most with you?
What album? Well, I think if you ask most bands, or whether it's Elton John or whether it's Sabbath or Zeppelin or anybody, you know what I mean, or Crowded House, or it could be anybody. I think it's pretty much the last thing you did. I mean, like doing Crew Incorporated, I was really happy when we were done with that one. And obviously now, I love this new one. You know what I mean? Because I think what you always try to do is, with the production on the record, you always try to beat your last bench press. So you always want to sound sonically better than the last album. I mean, at worst, as good as you did the last one. You know what I mean? So, I mean, that's always our goal going in, making the next record or whatever. But, you know, so, but the songs, I think if you ask any band or any songwriter, whether it's Neil Young or Elton John or Billy Joel or Zeppelin or Sabbath, you know, whatever songs you're writing, that's what you wrote at that point in your life. And that's, you know, however you woke up that day on that side of the bed. You know, so, yeah, but currently, obviously, I love the new record, The Engines of Demolition.
But before we go to the next question, Zach, because I mean, I remember when you started BLS and the first record came out, I mean, you put a lot of work into building this thing to where it is now. I mean, you obviously you were doing Ozzy and BLS at some points. Now there's a lot of commitment to BLS, obviously, sadly, with Ozzy gone. But I remember from that first record forward, I mean, just to establish yourself as the singer in this new project, I mean, you put a lot into this. There's been a hell of an evolution with this.
Well, yeah, I just always tell, anybody always asks, I'm like, hey, Zach, you got any advice for my son and my daughter? They're aspiring musicians. I go, yeah. I go, just play what you love and make the band your life. Like Jimmy Page. Led Zeppelin isn't just the band. It's his complete existence and his life. You're all in, like the priesthood. You're just all in. There is no, like a berserker. You're all in. That is it. It's the last stop. Because why would you settle for anything less? You know, like like no matter what. Like, you know, me and JD always talk about it, but I wasn't blessed having Ozzy in my life to give me that platform and the biggest stage in the world that goes, Zach, I'm giving you this. The rest is up to you. You know what I mean? So, and it's the truth. I mean, like, I don't ever look at it as a grind or work. I mean, the whole thing is, when I look back at the beginning of BLS to where we're at now, whether we were in a band we're all humping gear, getting the gear in, doing everything until, whatever, you get to Madison Square Garden. The whole thing is it was a blast the whole way through. There's never been a moment where I was just like, I want to go home, ever, because you're doing what you love. So I'm just thankful and grateful every day, and then, and we all get to hang out, so there you go. But I just tell them, I go, make the band your life. If we were opening up a pub, we'd open up, the pub would be our life, then we'd open another one. Then we'd open up another one, then we'd open up another one. Then we'd get a liver transplant, then we'd open up another one. Then we'd open up another one, but I mean, yeah, so, no, you just, like anything, you just go all in,
Anybody else?
I got one. Another one.
Hi, Zach. Ozzy used to say all the time in interviews that he never felt that he got to write his Sgt. Pepper's. First of all, do you think he left us believing that he did? And if not, which album do you think would be his Sgt. Pepper's?
Well, I mean, what I was saying, it's very interesting because, me being a huge Sabbath fan, being around Ozzy and Geezer, I would pick their brain on a lot of, just because I'm a fan. So, but it's interesting, like with Oz, he thought Sabbath's wrong, that it ended at Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath. And I love Sabotage, and he doesn't even put that in. It doesn't sit at that table with the rest of, with the first album, with Paranoid, Masters of Reality, and then you have Volume 4, then Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath. And to him, it ended there. So, to me, I love Never Say Die, because I remember, because we all have certain memories attached to records. And I remember I'd come off the school bus and get into my room, and I would crank Sabbath, I'd Never Say Die. Johnny Blade and Hard Road and everything like that, and he was just like, Oz goes, Zach, you like that album? And I was like, I think it's great. He goes, Zach, that album, it didn't go platinum, it didn't go gold, that album didn't even go tin. He was like, that thing's terrible. I was like, but like you said, and music is objective too, But Oz would always, it was very interesting because Ozzy would always associate what memories he had making certain albums. So obviously making Blizzard and Diary, he had nothing but amazing memories attached to those records. Because it was a new beginning, and then all the guys he was around, he loved being around the guys. So, and we had a great time making, No More Tears and everything like that. So Oz had a blast making that one and everything like that. So, it is interesting. And then I asked Geezer, I said, Geezer, if you go on a desert island and like somebody could only have one Sabbath record to go, this is what Black Sabbath is. He said, and he didn't even hesitate. He said, Master Reality. And I was like, I get it. You know what I mean? But that was his, he would give him that one. So, yeah, it's interesting when you listen to the guys that were part of those, that made those records.
Yeah, right here, Eddie.
Where are you at, Rob?
Down front.
Oh, there we go.
What's everybody's favorite song to play live, like a BLS?
Well, I'll just speak for JD on this one before you finish. JD likes it before I pick up the guitar, and when we do the bow at the end of the night. That's his favorite part of the whole show.
Fucking amazing. Right? Everybody applaud. Everybody applaud. It's done.
And if you do notice, you may have noticed it last night, every time I break into a solo, JD throws up violently. And therefore, he can eat as many slices of pizza as he wants, as much pasta, as much candy, because I'm his Ozempic.
It wasn't even the ship doing it.
Yeah.
It was,
and that's another reason why we brought Kid Dynamite out, is to ease the pain. So it would be like, I solo, then Dario solos, and then JD's like, all right, I guess I'll stick around a little longer. But go ahead, Goose, take it away.
All right. Like you said, the bow is my favorite part. So. Jeffy boy.
Stillborn is probably my favorite. Few of them. Or the new one, Name and Blood, in the second.
Yeah, think of that.
Zach did my radio show a couple months ago in LA, and I asked him about putting a set list together for BLS, and he said, oh, yeah, JD does that. The only problem is he doesn't put any BLS songs on the set list.
There's no set. It's just Freebird twice and Stairway to Heaven twice.
Done. That's it.
And then we might come out for the encore one more time and do Freebird again. It seems to be working. I don't know. I'm enjoy it.
Somebody right in front here? Go ahead.
When y'all are out on tour, are there any pranks you like to play on each other or your opening bands?
These guys pranks? No, they're so serious.
No, we were just saying it's kind of funny. I mean, obviously during the Berserking days, the early days of Black Label, you know, between the comedy with the booze and everything like that, there was that, I mean, you could have rolled the camera around that time, because there was nothing but comedy at all times.
I lived that shit, man, many times, in TV and radio. There were times I looked across my radio console, Zach was there 1 minute, next minute he wasn't. Where was he? I looked over, he was on the floor, man.
Yeah, but I got right back up though, pal.
You were cleaning up.
As a true professional, but no, back in the drinking days, there was a lot of comedy. But now it's pretty. If this was a reality show, we'd have to write the skits because there's nothing going on. It's without a doubt. I mean, it's a bingo hall at us at 95 years old. There's more action than what's going on now.
Definitely is.
I talk about that all the time with bands like around our age. I'll come out from backstage at a concert, everyone's like, what are you guys doing back there? You guys drinking, partying, chicks, what's going on? Like, no, we're talking about our PSA number, our cholesterol number, when we got our last colonoscopy. Unfortunately, that's the truth. That really is where it's at right now.
Does anyone have any Viagra or Cialis? That's always good. Friggin' hilarious.
Who else? Any more questions? Go ahead.
So I had the opportunity, and I still do, to work with Mr. Morc or Skybox. Zach, your relationship, can you explain how did that start with Morc?
Oh, with Mark Weiss. Well, Mark's a legendary photographer and everything like that. Mark got, you know, the pictures of Ozzy with the boxing gloves on and the tutu dress and the ballerina dress and everything like that. That's all Mark. But Mark, his buddy Dave Feld saw me playing in a club that me and JD used to jam at, this place called Close Encounters. And Dave was in there. I never met him before. And this is when Jake had just left Ozzy. And he was like, hey, do you ever think about auditioning for, you know, playing with Ozzy? And I go, no, I was thinking about having some slices of pizza with, you know, Jimmy Page and Robert Plant later on today, but, you know, I don't know how to get in touch with him, you know, so. But Dave was like, my buddy's Mark Weiss, and if you get, you know, a tape together and some pictures, I could get it to Sharon Osbourne, and, you know, I mean, I can't promise you anything, but I could get it to him. I was like, oh, wow, well, you know, that's pretty insane. So I made a tape and took some pictures, and at my mom and dad's house, and I remember Dave gave it to Mark, and then Mark gave it to Sharon, and I remember Sharon called me, you know, at my mom's house. I mean, you know, pretty hilarious. But and I thought it was my buddies pranking me, having their mom on the phone, but I heard the delay from England. But yeah, then they flew me out to LA, I auditioned, met Ozzy, crapped my pants, and the rest is history. But it is funny, because Ozzy said, have I met you before? And I'm thinking, he just saw me at Brendan Byrne Arena when they were playing with Motley and Wasted with Jake, and saw us under the mezzanine, like rocking out. Or he saw us at Madison Square Garden with Bernie Tormette. And I'm like, no, you never met me. He goes, I know I've seen you before or whatever, right? And so, and then Oz was like, I remember when I saw you. He goes, it was the only picture, it was a Polaroid. It was on our kitchen counter. And I was like, I looked at it and I go, oh, look at this kid. He must really love Randy Rhoads. And that was it. And we do. And we still do. And we always will. There you go. And say Randy, he's the patron saint of Black Label, for sure. But But yeah, so it's pretty funny. But yeah, Dave and Mark were responsible for getting me the gig with me to be sitting here right now.
Everybody is.
And me to be responsible for ruining JD's life. So yeah.
40 years later.
Yes.
You got a question? Hi, I seen your show last night, and I'm still wondering, how do you guys do that?
Black Widows?
Oh yes, the Black Widows feared throughout the land. Tacoma.
That song is called Fire It Up.
Yes, Fire It Up. No, that's just us doing it, and then the wah wah pedal, doing all the thing. I think on the record now I use a voice box. That's what I use. Okay. And then I broke right into Living on a Prayer right after that. Yes. Straight up Richie Sambora.
Okay, so back in the day, what is your first tour that you actually put money in your pocket?
Well, obviously playing with Ozzy. You know, I mean, back before that, I mean, we play clubs and walk out of there with $40. You know what I mean? And that was about, and that's for gas money, and that's about it. And then I bring
White Castle.
Yeah, White Castle for Barbara Ann.
Route 9.
Yeah, exactly.
9 in Old Ridge.
Totally. And then we'd stop off at Bourbon Street. You know what I mean?
Peter Pan?
Over here. Can you
What do we got? What do we got?
Can you tell maybe a funny story with Randy Castillo?
With who?
Randy Castillo.
Oh, Randy. I'm trying to think. I mean, Randy. I mean, there was always be a lot of comedy with us, with Randy and the drinking and everything like that. I mean, back in the day. But I'm trying to think. I mean, I remember. No, I remember Randy. I remember us getting hammered. I mean, what we were working on. No, I think it was. It might have been No More Tears. We were working on it in Albuquerque somewhere or whatever. And I remember Rand getting so blasted out of his mind. He just went to the bathroom. I guess the lights were out or whatever. But I just remember he hit the towel, that's a towel rack that's above the thing, hit that over the toilet. Took a massive dump in the toilet on the towel. And then I remember going to the bathroom in the morning, I go, and I just saw Randy waiting. I go, Rand, did you leave me something, a gift this morning? He goes, and then he went in, he was crying, laughing, because he goes, oh yeah, it must have been that 15th shot of Crown we had last night, But no, I mean, Rand, it was always a blast with Randy. Every night was Friday night, so without a doubt. And Randy was awesome, man. I mean, it was just, like I said, you gotta live like a berserker, man, and Randy did. I mean, like, loved life. You know what I mean? So, God bless him. Randy's the best, man. Totally.
Back here, Ed.
I didn't want to say it like this, but I'm gonna this is for the whole band. You didn't play Bleed for me, and I'm assuming it was because the crowd dissipated so quick, because we're all so old and we had to get back for nightcaps or whatnot.
Oh, what about Bleed for me? No, we didn't. Oh, well, we didn't play it last night because I mean, eventually it gets. We look at the set, what we want to put in there, and then probably Bleed. We either did Bleed either the last tour, and that's the reason why we didn't put it in on this one. But yeah, it'll probably make it. It'll make a return. So got to give some of the other guys a chance.
And that's the thing, you got a great new record out, and I mean now there's a pretty deep catalog of Black Label Society albums, and you want to.
And we're 53 albums out now, so I mean, we don't have as bad of problems as the Stones, but the Stones could be literally up there for 8 days, and you would go, I still can't believe they didn't play this, that, and the other. But no, I mean, it's, because you got to play some of the new songs, but you always want to play a little bit of it from the first album on. You want to try and see put a little bit of everything in there.
And now, of course, they're doing No More Tears, which you guys saw, which is awesome to do that one too.
Yeah. Well, we went and did that show over the Brits when we went over there for Ozzy to get that Lifetime Achievement Award. So, and Robbie Williams was Robbie, Roberto, Adam Wakeman, and Tommy. So we played that there, and I was like, that's when I called the fellas. I said we should stick that in in the set somewhere. So, and that's what we're doing.
We got about 5 minutes or so left before we have to wrap up. Go ahead. Thank you. This gentleman bought me Starbucks.
What do you got, my brother?
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so over the last few years, there's a bunch of videos where Zach is knocking you guys out. Do any of you ever knock him out?
Well, then you haven't been watching any of them, because I'm the one that gets knocked out all the time. Come on!
Has Dario knocked him out?
Everybody's knocked him.
It's a miracle I'm not drinking still after all these beatdowns.
He doesn't need it anymore.
Like I said, I do sniff glue and eat paint chips. And the results are astoundingly the same. I wake up with my pants around my ankles and the fellas tell me, man, you were friggin' hilarious last night.
I think we're gonna get one
Next
more.
question.
So for the whole Duke crew, which bands do you guys listen to currently? Like when you're driving in your car or just chilling out?
Connie Francis.
The goose likes Connie. He loves her.
Anything really, from 70s on, 60s on, new metal, everything. Man, we listen to everything. Jazz, funk, fusion, metal, you name it.
Yacht rock.
That's what you do, man. I mean, I love all that stuff. Because you've always heard it when you were a kid. And now you just put the playlist on, like Yacht Rock Essentials, and just chill out to it. Without a doubt. Love it. Christopher Cross, who doesn't like going sailing? And here we are.
Dario, anything you want to add?
All the above.
Your go-to
Okay.
stuff?
A lot.
Yacht rock, all the way?
Yeah, all the above.
Dario also listens to porn soundtracks of the 70s. He loves it. And it's funny because I'll be like, Dario, what song is this? I know this one.
And if you've seen the BLS tour that was just recently out, Dario's got a band called Dark Chapel that was opening the shows too.
And if you're willing to ask him how dark the chapel is, it's wicked dark.
And of course, Zach's doing like double duty. JB's doing double. Jeff too, right? Double duty, triple duty.
We're all doing double duty. JD is remodeling his kitchen right now, so we all have to chip in to make that extra cabinet money.
Rob, are we good or are we on one more? Where'd Rob go?
I got a question up here.
Whoa.
Up here. I don't need a microphone.
Clearly.
I don't need a microphone. Hey, Zach, what a great complimentary band. Awesome job. And thank you for always being so kind and cordial to people that you meet and you talk to. How do you balance work life?
Well, I don't consider it work. That's what it is. I'm doing what I love. And everybody's super cool, so it makes it that much easier. So it's great. I love meeting new people and hanging out and all the chapters all around the world and everything like that. It's all good, man.
Awesome.
Truly blessed.
Thank you guys. Great band.
You got it, my brother. Thank you, brother.
I don't think there's a better way to end than on that, right? I mean, guys screaming from the top, great band. It is a great band. You got another performance coming up on the ship, so make sure you guys all check it out. And thank you guys. Enjoy the rest of your evening, everybody. We'll see you out there.